So that's why I like to do that. However, the advantage of what Lil D is doing is that it's a little more tricky, and most undeads won't suspect it. Now, Fury just did scout that AOW, so now he kind of knows what's up. If you take a look at Fury's base, he did do a faster tech, and I believe he goes gargoyles. I'm not 100. I'm honestly not 100% sure. I really don't remember this game because this was like 3 or 4 weeks ago. But but yeah, so we'll see. Now, I believe as soon as it hits nighttime, he's gonna buy the boots on his Warden. Okay, everyone pause this audio at 4 minutes and 30 seconds. Everyone pause it at 4 minutes and 30 seconds. Sorry, I had to run again halfway through doing this, so I'm going to have to splice these two together. But I knew I was right around 4 minutes whenever I stopped doing the last one. So, once again, pause this at 4 minutes and 30 seconds. And, yeah, I'll give you, whatever, 30 seconds to do that. Basically, the Warden is just starting the creep of the shop and the AOW. And Fury is coming with 6 ghouls to come and harass in his level 1 DK. Okay, so 4 minutes and 30 seconds, 1x speed. Hopefully everyone has it there. If you don't, then whatever, just fast forward and catch up. So 4 minutes and 30 seconds, unpause in 3, 2, 1, unpause. Okay, so the first thing you should notice is the way Lil D pulled back the creeps to creep it with the Warden. So obviously, see, his Warden is actually taking a lot of damage right now. He shouldn't be taking all that damage. The reason you do that AOW creep is obviously because the AOW takes all the damage for you. Like right now, he should have his Warden right there, and he should be focusing the DK. He could have given the DK a ton of damage if his Warden was there. That was actually a little mistake by Little D. Now. Fury got a nice little jack there. I honestly think Lil D could have crept it a little faster, and he could have at least gotten that big creep first. But what are you gonna do? And Fury actually made a little mistake there too. He had enough units; he could have re-surrounded that Warden, but he didn't. Okay. Now, if you'll see it the way Fury did his build, he did a build that's much more common to Twisted Meadows for Undead. He basically went fast gargoyles, and that's just 5 or 6 ghoul tech to 2 crypt gargs. And the reason you do that is because you can Island Expo and harass wisps and whatnot. And it's especially effective against Warden because Warden you can harass really easily and you can delay their tech. So most of the time, as you saw last game, Mata went Fiends against me, but most games you will see Gargoyles. And you'll see Fury is going to creep this laboratory as soon as he possibly can. Now, of course, Lil D knows this, and Lil D comes to jack him. Whenever Fury was creeping this, he basically was just hoping that Lil D was going to be either creeping his shop or creeping the orange. And you'll see Lil D is doing something very cool here, and he is creeping the orange while he went to go harass. Now, there's 2 things you can do here. One is basically you can realize that all good undeads are going to creep that laboratory as fast as they possibly can so that they can creep the islands as fast as they possibly can. Or 2, you can just leave a wisp up by that laboratory, and then whenever you see them creeping it, go jack them. Because when they're creeping it, they do it as fast as they possibly can. A jack hurts them a ton. And I can't even tell you how many times I've been accused of map hacking when I go and I jack them at that laboratory. And a lot of times, if the undead isn't good, or they do that thing where they sell their TP at the start and you jack them, you kill their DK in like 3 ghouls, I mean, you can end the game right there. So it's a high risk, high reward kind of thing. But as I was saying, against all good undeads that are going gargoyles, they're going to creep that laboratory as quickly as they possibly can. And you'll see he buys the Zeppelin, and as soon as Lil D sees that Zeppelin being bought, he knows that there's going to be Island Expos. He's probably saying crapola in his head. You'll see the Tree of Life being built over on the bottom right. That's pretty common whenever you do Warden. As you saw in my build, I use the AOW that I use to creep the Goblin Laboratory, and I use that AOW to go down and creep the mine. Lil D is basically, he got harassed a little harder and he had to creep a little bit slower, so he basically had to build the Tree of Life there, and he couldn't really walk in AOW because his AOW was killed that he was creeping the shop with. So Fury, being good undead player that he is, knows that most undead players knows that most Night Elf players will build a Tree of Life there once they see them creeping that laboratory. So it's a whole counter system kind of deal, because basically good players are very predictable, because good players know exactly what to do and when to do it. So that's why a lot of times, like, you'll see, oh, well, how do they know to do this? How do they know when to do that? It's because they know the best counter to their own strategy, and they know that if the other person is good, then the other person is going to do that counter to their strategy. So, for example, the counter to Gargoyle Island Expos is expoing the entire main map and building trees of life all over the place and whatnot. So that's how Fury knew. Yeah, so that's that. Okay, and you'll see he's creeping the thing. Finally, that Warden hits level 3. Once that Warden hits level 3, he's a million times more effective. So once that Warden hits level 3, he should solo creep this with his Panda and go harass with his Warden. Maybe Lil D was feeling a little lazy this game. Because once that Warden is level 3, you basically want to get your Panda level 5 as fast as possible. Like, a lot of people, they'll creep this laboratory with the Panda, and then they'll go creep in that orange down at the bottom, and then they'll go creep the mine down at the bottom. And that gets them like level 4 and some, so if you solo creep it. And then while you're doing that, you should harass with your Warden. Like, if he was harassing with his Warden right now, he could blink across and do a ton of damage. He could kill some gargoyles, or with level 2 Shadow Strike, he could kill gargoyles. He could put a ton of damage on the DK. He could basically make Fury's day a living hell. So, yeah, and if you'll see, if you'll take a look at the hero levels now, that Panda still isn't level 3, and that Warden still isn't level 4. So that creep really didn't do that much. I mean, obviously it did a lot for giving them experience, but had he done what I said and gone and harassed with the Warden and solo crept with the Panda, he would have done a lot more damage. It would have been a lot more effective. And now he just got one gargoyle, and now he has a low Warden, and he has to run away. So that was another little mistake by Lil D. Hey, but we're not all perfect. And that's what makes this game exciting. If we were all perfect, then this game would be so boring. Every game would be 3 hours long and end in a tie. Okay, so another thing I would have done if I was Fury, instead of going to harass this expo, when you're undead, I would go and I would creep at least 2 of the islands and set up a necropolis and a mine on 2 of the islands instead of doing just 1, because most of the time, like, okay, in order for you to creep one of those mines, you need like 10 gargoyles and you need a zeppelin, or 8 gargoyles and a zeppelin or something. Okay, and it takes a lot of time to get that. But once you have those things, you can creep one of those gold mines in like, 30 seconds. So once you have those things,